I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Today on the program, Governor Wike joins Atiku, Saraki, Tambuwal, Obi and others in announcing bid to contest for the PDP presidential ticket. House of Representatives member from Kebbi State, Yusuf Sununu, speaks on rampant banditry in Yauri, Shanga, Ngaski Federal Constituency, and later on the show, NFF apologizes for Super Eagles ouster from 2022 World Cup as Senate slams team. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju and Adekunle Yusuf, while Musba Razak joins us later for sports. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin on a solemn note. It's the holy month of Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, when Muslims are expected to embark on a 30-day-long fast as fasting season begins. Clerics and leaders have renewed their call for reflection, charity, and more humanitarian work by Muslim faithful. In Lagos, the state government ushers in the month with prayer. Let's share the story by TVC News Adedoja Salam Adeni with you.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن.
The new moon sighting marks the start of the 9th month in the Islamic calendar. Ramadan is the time for spiritual cleansing through fervent prayers and good deeds. It is the tradition of the Lagos State government to commence the holy month with prayers. It started with prayer for Nigeria. Still on the worsening insecurity in the country, the deputy governor also wants faithful to use the holy month in praying for a peaceful Nigeria.
Somebody left his house to say, I'm going to kill somebody. Imagine that mindset. So that's why we have to intervene in all spheres, you know. Parents have to take care of their wives, have to take care of their husband has to take care of their wives, and so on and so forth. I implore myself and all the Muslim Ummah to pray for this country so that we have peace, so that the spirit of shaitan doesn't take over our land. All these killings, kidnappings, and so on, so that we pray that Almighty Allah take control of our country and bring peace and happiness, because without it, really, nothing can happen.
Ramadan holds greater importance as it is the first time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Holy Quran to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, on one of the last 10 nights of the month, known as the Night of Power.
The significance of this month is for us to be of good character, to help each other, to help our fellow Muslims, not even non-Muslims. At this month, some will be fasting without anything for them to eat. So we have that responsibility to make sure that they feel as we feel. So the month of Ramadan is a month of peace, month of, selfless service to humanity.
Fasting during Ramadan is obligatory. Exemptions are made for children, pregnant women, nursing mothers, and those who are ill or traveling. Adedoja Salam Adeni, TVC News, Lagos.
Let me start with Adekunle Yusuf. You're observing that the holy month of Ramadan every year is something that any Muslim, anybody that says, look, I'm a Muslim, must actually observe.
Yes, we Muslims believe this is the best part of the year. So the best you can achieve every year, this is the month that provides you that opportunity in terms of spiritual definition of yourself, rediscovery, the best you can do, in the service of Allah. This is the best time of the year. And when you fast, it makes you to reflect, because there are many out there who are not fasting, but they are unable to find something to eat. There are many who don't have, so you feel the pains that others feel every day. So it will certainly push you to do more in terms of giving, in terms of charity, in terms of feeling empathy for your fellow human beings, because nobody is better than any other person. Whatever you are able to get, which others are unable to get, is just by the grace of Allah.
Bikio, it's just like self-denial, a month that so you have to sacrifice those things you love to do most, and just deny that month, just keep yourself like that.
Yes, it's a month to keep yourself holy and in complete submission to your Maker, to Allah. And it's a month when God requires of every faithful to show generosity, to show goodwill to our neighbors, our friends. This is not the month to spill blood. This is not the month to embark on other violent schemes, because God did not design violent schemes for us. It's we human beings who have chosen to be violent. But this holy month, people are enjoying, Muslims are enjoying to keep themselves holy, stay away from sin as much as possible, and be prayerful and show generosity to other people.
All right. Joining us for more insight into the essence of the Ramadan fast is the head of Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies to the Sokoto State University, Sokoto, Dr. Jabir Sani Mahula. He is also the chief imam of the Sultan Saad Abubakar Jumat Mosque in Sokoto. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'll say salam alaikum to you. And I want to ask the essence of this holy month.
Can you break it down for us?
Well, as I heard you speaking with the other guests before there, the essence of this month is there are many lessons we can learn, but part of which is to have the piousness of God, to strengthen our relationship with God. The God Almighty in chapter 2 of the Holy Quran and in verse 183, when he was commanding us to fast, he said, this fasting was made obligatory upon you so that you might gain taqwa, piousness, closeness to Allah. So it's a time that Muslims shall strengthen their relationship with God Almighty. And this is so important in our society today in the sense that it will make you to be law-abiding. Fasting is about taking the commands of God, abstain from food, drink, and sexual intercourse at a particular period of time, and you abstain from that. So you are trained to be law-abiding. Now, you will be a good citizen that will be law-abiding in the society. You are already appointed to following rules and regulation. Also, it's a month of giving charity. I heard one of your guests discussing that. Charity is known and attached to Ramadan. It's reported that the Prophet, the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, that he is the most generous of all people, and his generosity increases in the month of Ramadan when he meets with Angel Jibril and they discuss Quran. They said in that month of Ramadan, his generosity is like a blowing wind. When the wind blows, everyone gets his share from it. So it's a month that we are encouraged to give out to less privileged people, to give out to the society. It is reported that the Prophet, the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said that if you feed a fasting person, you will attain the reward of that fasting person without anything being deduced from his reward. So it's win-win. When we give him, you gain a reward, and you also gain a reward of his fasting. It is also a month of self-purification. We purify ourselves. Scholars often said that if not with fasting, the well-to-do individuals, the rich people might not know what is hunger. Now you're experiencing what is hunger. When someone tells you that we are experiencing hunger, I'm hungry, please, I want you to help me. If you, without fasting, if you have been rich all your life, you might not know what the meaning of hunger is. But now this is a lesson that comes to teach you that hunger is when someone is starving. So you need to help him and you need to give out. Many lessons that we need to learn in Ramadan, part of which is how to strengthen our neighborhood, to stay in the society, to get people come together, to pray in the night, people fast together. So it teaches us unity, how to unite to achieve a common goal. Now, this goal being religious, goal being unworldly, how to help our country, how to help our nation. Also, the month of Ramadan is a month of prayers. We intensify in praying, we pray unto Allah. In the glorious Quran, when Allah mentions the verses of fasting, the last verse he mentioned is that, tell my servants that when they want to ask, when they want to pray, they pray unto me. That I'm alive, I'm listening to their prayers, I'm ever ready to answer their prayers. Now in this month of Ramadan, we all know what our country is going through, we all know the challenges we are facing. It's right time we devote ourselves to praying to our country, to praying and solving to praying to Almighty Allah to solve our individual problems and collective problems as a whole.
Now, what does the Quran say about inadvertent breaking of the fast, like breaking the fast in error? What does the Holy Book say?
The Quran asks us in Surah Al-Baqarah in chapter 2 to fast from the dawn to sunset. And this is abstinence from eating, drinking, and sexual intercourse. In case someone mistakenly break his fast, he's forgiven. Now, the beauty of Islam is that things that are done wrongly and mistakenly are forgiven. The Prophet, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, says, whoever breaks his fasting mistakenly, unknowingly, he shall continue his fasting, which is Allah the Almighty who fed him or who provides him with drink. So if you have forgotten, because maybe you are not used to fasting, so throughout the year you had never fasted or voluntarily fasted, so you forgot your fasting and you check something forgetfully, then you are forgiven by God, and you just have to be careful next time.
So the issue of sexual intercourse, there is no exception. There is no situation that the Holy Book could say, well, you can have it maybe because the person is your wife or something. Is there an exception at all?
But what should be noteworthy is that sexual intercourse and eating and drinking are only forbidden in the day. As soon as the sun is set, then you are allowed to go to that. Quran says, وَالْآنَ بَاشِرُهُنَّ. Now, after the fasting, you can have a romance with them. You can have, as you can have your food and drink, you can also have your romance. So you are only asked to abstain from that in the day. In the night, you are allowed to do that. Now, in case you mistakenly or you intentionally, you intentionally do it in the day, then you have to expiate. You have to expiate by fasting, by feeding 60 people. And look at it here. You are asked to expiate by feeding 60 people given to society. You had a sexual intercourse with your wife in the day of Ramadan. Now there's where you can resolve it. How can you do it? Find 60 poor in your community and feed them the food, and God will be pleased with you. So you see, Ramadan is all about giving. It's all about impacting positively to your society. It's all about contributing your part to the society. It's all about helping and sharing.
What's your advice to people, a lot of them Muslims, who choose this holy month to sell groceries and other things that they know that people need in this holy month at exorbitant prices, seeking to profiteer from this season? What's your counsel to such people?
Well, it's quite unfortunate that when Ramadan arrives, price of commodities will skyrocket, and it is quite a big mistake. Why? Because it is a month of mercy. It's a month that we should show mercy to the people. The Prophet says, "Be merciful to those on earth, and He in heaven will be merciful to you." It's a month that we are asked to feed the poor people. Then how are we going to make the prices of commodity to go high just for personal gain? Sometimes the prices, someone will think that it is an avenue for him to double or triple his gains. What we believe is that if you become merciful to people, if you put the price down, God will bless your your business and blessings of God in your business is far better than what you think you're going to get, because people that have been doing this have got nothing over us. But if you become merciful to those on earth and He in the heaven become merciful to you, it might result to multiplication of your wealth and blessings in your business, and the way you treat people, the way you're going to be treated by God. So it's quite unfortunate the way some people do escalate the price of commodities.
Okay, I would like to have your message for those fomenting trouble in Nigeria, the bandits, kidnappers, terrorists, and others. Please use this season to send a message to them.
Only I wish they was hearing me. Only the problem is that they don't listen to such programs, most of them. The bandits you're talking about that are in their hideout somewhere in the bush. But my call is to government first to intensify effort. We have heard that government is doing a lot from you guys, from media, that government and security agencies are doing their best. They should add more into it. And also I'm calling on individuals, on people who are listening. No atrocity is committed without the hand of the masses, general public. These bandits have informants that will tell them that this is what is going on. I read recently that the Kaduna Abuja train, there are some informants in it that they were telling them that I read it online. So we should try as much as we can. I know the people who have hand in this are listening to me now. Please try as much as you can to abstain from this. This is a bad doing. Allah says in the Quran, do not put your hand to people, God will lead to your destruction. But without doubt, these bandits are destroying this country, and the people that are affected most are the northerners, are the Muslims, and it's one of Ramadan, it's one of mercy, and most of you that have hand in this are also Muslim. You claim to be fasting. Why not have a fear of God? Why not succumb to the law of God? Why not succumb to the commands of God of being merciful, of not to harm anyone? If you harm anyone, you are indirectly harming God, and God will hold you responsible. We need to live in a peaceful country, in a peaceful society. We have that nostalgic memory of a country where someone can travel in the night, someone can travel in the day with a peace of mind. We need to restore that, and the best time to restore that is in Ramadan, the month that God chooses to reveal the Quran, the message of mercy to humanity, the humanitarian message to humanity. So we need to imbibe that, we need to practicalize that, we need to put it into practice. This is the month whereby you listen to scholars across the country and world over, interpreting Quran.
I want to thank you, Dr. Jabil Sani Makhula, is the Chief Imam of Sultan Sahad Abubakar Jumat Mosque in Sokoto. Thank you for your intervention, and I pray that the Almighty Allah accept our fast, Abi?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, moving on now. With negative figures recorded in most sectors of the economy in 2020-2021, it will be a matter of time before more Nigerians slide into poverty. The World Bank has declared that the number of poor Nigerians is projected to hit 95.1 million in 2020 from 90 million in 2022. In its poverty assessment report titled A Better Future for All Nigerians, 2022 Nigeria Poverty Assessment, the World Bank noted that the COVID-19 crisis is driving up Nigeria's poverty rate, pushing more than 5 million additional people into poverty in 2022. Babajide, this is very scary.
It is. There is no. It's a very. It's something that is very evident. It's staring us in the face. More and more people are struggling to get by in our country.
See it around you.
Salaries are not being paid regularly for many people because companies and businesses are struggling. The environment is too toxic for businesses to fester. Now, the CBN has not helped matters by not stabilizing the exchange rate, by not stabilizing the value of the naira. The value of the naira has continued to slide, and that is making life unbearable for people. You can say, oh, it's not everything that we consume that is imported. But look at bread, for example. Look at bread. The bulk of the ingredients used in producing bread, butter, and the rest of them are imported. That's why the price has been going up. In the last 1 year, premium loaf of bread moved from 250 naira per loaf to 500,
600,
750. 750 now in the Akute area. You know, I don't know how much people buy in the area, but it's now 750, the same loaf of premium bread. So, and there are other things too that are imported. People are suffering. Now, you look at businesses, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria is complaining. The energy crisis is driving them to nuts. How can people buy diesel at about 800 naira per liter? At the end of the day, the burden will be pushed down to the final consumer. That's making life unbearable for people. Flour mills, for so long, they relied on, they did not rely on public power supply because it's not reliable. But now, with diesel price going sky high, I'm wondering how flour mills will survive. So more and more people pushed into the unemployment market. That will worsen poverty. The purchasing power of most Nigerians has diminished significantly. What you could buy, we were talking about granite. Granite sometime last year, we were buying that bottle.
Just 500.
That bottle for 500 naira. Today, the same bottle, if you are lucky, you will get it 950, 900. 1, in many places, it's 1,000. In Abuja, for example, it's 1,000. So this is the thing. Within a short time, you see prices going sky high. What can people do? How do they feed their families? Everything. There's nothing that the price has not gone up. Whether it is vegetable oil, everything.
Look at the price of gas. Look at the price of rice. Little things that ordinary folks depend on to live, to survive.
You should not talk about beans.
Believe me.
It's untouchable.
And you wonder who is in charge of our economy. I don't know, but I don't know whether there's anybody
who is in charge of keeping the naira value stable.
In the last few years, it's been so bad that the rate at which prices go and buy today, go back tomorrow, you realize that it's no longer the same. And many of them, when you see their complaints, that even when prices were lower, they were better than now that prices are higher. That is to say, they make more profit before than now. Because they too, I'm talking about manufacturers, are barely, trying to get by. You see, look at biscuits, look at, gala and many other things. They've reduced in quantity and quality, despite increasing price. You understand me? And you now wonder what is happening in our society.
Flour.
What is happening? And when you try to engage them, they say we should even commend them that they are still even able to produce.
That's pepper on the screen. People can access their farms, so the prices will go up. More and more people can access their farms. Bandits are chasing people away, so the price will go up.
So when you now say that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, nobody is abusing anybody. It is a fact, and it's so bad that more and more people join the poverty queue.
But anytime you hear from government, you hear that our economy, inflation has reduced considerably. That
I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone who is not illiterate will say inflation has reduced. We have not been able to bring the inflationary rate to single digits since I think 2016. It's been like that. Now, if it goes down, maybe just by
0.0
or just insignificant numbers,
that will not
by insignificant numbers. If it stays for 4 months on 17%, and you are saying 17.06, another month 17.09, then it goes back to 17.04.
That's nothing.
That's not significant. That's not significant. Those are not statistics that you can hold on to say inflation rate is going down. People can see, look at the months in which we suffered because some irresponsible people brought bad fuel into our country. Look at the impact that had even on inflationary rate.
And it has not stopped.
Yes, it has not stopped. It has improved in the Lagos area, but some parts of our country, people are still suffering. So when you put the totality of this whole thing together, it is understandable that more and more people, it's so easy to predict that more and more people in our country will slide into the...
You heard the telcos, they've been doing everything. They want to increase their tariffs because of operation.
And frankly, they've not done it in many years.
It is because interventions here and there. You saw this, is it DSTV?
Airlines too.
You see, so everywhere.
Airlines,
just because some people, you know, unscrupulous people, you know, decided to bring in, and nobody has been punished to date.
At least to our knowledge.
Our country, nobody has been punished.
Is that bad?
Now, you add this to the unemployment rate, the poverty rate. Yes. You now see
businesses are sacking people and insecurity.
Insecurity.
Yes, it will happen. We've seen people. There is something going on in our country, and I know for a fact that you are also affected. Even if you are extremely modest, you don't want to admit it. The rate at which people call you for one favor or another is something that we can. But see, it's also a pointer to the deterioration of things in our country. Because I could tell you that some years back, people were not calling
as
me.
As desperate as this.
And
now people slide into your DM.
You don't know how. Somebody that you don't know will just say, please, I need to feed my family today.
Yes.
What can you do, sir? The reality is, you can't, no matter how generous you are, you cannot satisfy everyone who wants one favor or another from you.
Adekunle Yusuf on TV now, you feel...
Yeah, he has money.
If I tell you
people are going through a lot.
Messages I receive every
people are going through a lot. People are going through a lot in our country. Before, even women sometimes, before a woman slides into your DM or goes to your WhatsApp and says, please, you need, my family, I've not fed my children today, and this is 6 p.m. What can you do? That's to tell you,
and when you tell them that so sometimes bad. You are unable to assist, they will say it's 1,000. Please, they send that. On my phone.
People are suffering in our country.
Wow. Okay, moving on now. All that is required for evil to thrive in the society is for men of goodwill to be silent in the face of challenges. The Speaker of Borno State House of Assembly, Abdulkarim Lawal, has appealed to the military to redouble their efforts in liberating all parts of his constituency, Guzamala local government area, from continued occupation by Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony of the distribution of Phase 4 scholarship scheme to 446 students of Guzamala, Lawan, who lamented the absence of military presence in Guzamala and Kukawa, stated that urgent steps must be taken to ensure deployment of troops to the areas. Julie, I thought it was banditry that, you know, it is now the in thing now, and it has relegated Boko Haram to the background. I don't know that there are some areas.
No doubt, the bigger problem that we face is when you compare Boko Haram insurgency with what's going on in the northwest. We are facing a much bigger problem in the northwest and north central now than we are facing currently in the northeast area of operation. And it's because progress has been made by the Nigerian forces in terms of dealing decisively with Boko Haram terrorists. But that does not mean that these guys no longer exist, or that they stopped carrying out attacks, or that they don't have capacity anymore. No. They are still around, very much around. The only thing is we have reduced their capacity to halt our military and to carry out attacks with the frequency that was associated with them in the time past. But there are still places like Guzamala local government where not a single soul has lived in for up to 6 years. This speaker has spoken about this repeatedly. There was a day that he said something like that, and people are saying, there are you people doing election. Ignorance is a big problem in our country. Elections are held inside IDP camps in the northeast, especially in Borno State.
Or some people use question the turnout.
Somebody emerge as speaker or somebody is in the Senate does not mean that his area is safe. He too will not even go to those places. He dare not go. Now, Guzamala, the governor mentioned 3 local governments the other day. 3 local governments. This speaker has spoken about his own local government. He's been demanding that you don't even have presence of the military, not to talk of human civilians. Now, what is happening these days is they do some patrols, the joint, the MNJTF, Multinational Joint Task Force, they do some patrols, but they don't stay there. If you don't stay, that is an area where more than 120 soldiers were killed in one day. In that Guzamala local government. Maybe that accounts for the reluctance to push soldiers to the area, because the terrorists once killed 125 soldiers in one day. In fact, there is an epitaph that they made, you know, to remember those fallen soldiers in that town, Gudumbali. So you can patrol, but if you don't put soldiers there to guide the area, the people will not feel comfortable to come and live there, because they know that once you patrol the area and you've left, these boys can come and slaughter them. It's a good thing that in Malam Fatori now, in Abadam local government, they've taken some people who volunteer to relocate. They've taken them there. That's the first time that people will live in Malam Fatori since 2014. It's a good decision on the part of this government. But you also need to protect those that you have relocated to those areas. Otherwise, it's dangerous.
Something you can regret.
Yes. So I hope that they will listen to the speaker and grant his wish. All their people, district heads, everybody, they've relocated to Maiduguri. You know, even when he lost his dad, they couldn't take his dad to their village to bury. You know, so this is the thing.
Very painful.
Yeah.
Yusuf, and you see that if this persists and we're not making efforts, the people, nobody can even live in those areas.
Yes. I'm happy that at least some people are speaking up, you know, because part of the problem is the deception, you know, game that was going on for a long time. You see it, top-ranking government officials saying no area is under the under Boko Haram or blah blah blah. But thank God that some people are speaking of that. See, up to now, there are some areas that Boko Haram and Yusuf are in charge. So I'm happy that some people are speaking up, because we have to first of all understand the full, you know, extent of the problems before we can, you know, get a hold on it. Now, just as, because I don't know, I'm in love with the governor of Borno State. I love his passion. I love his, you know, his charisma and the way he does his job. This is another area we have to work on, so that you can bring life back to those areas. He's been able to resettle, you know, some people in some areas. This area too, you know, whatever it will take, because without resettlement, you can never win the war against Boko Haram. But when you resettle people and you protect them, and Boko Haram will still be so at some point.
All right. For some time now, he has rocked the boats of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and is about to stir things up more for the main opposition party. Rivers State Governor Yusuf, one of the solidifying forces behind PDP in recent times, has thrown his heart into the ring regarding the party's presidential tickets for the 2023 elections. Governor Wike has joined others like the former Vice President Atiku, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, Governor Tambuwal of Sokoto State, former Governor of Anambra State Peter Obi, and a host of others in announcing bid to contest for PDP presidential tickets. Let's hear from Governor Yusuf Wike.
Must take this power. Power, they know the dashable. Do you dash power? Power is what? Taking. I'm ready to take it for PDP, and I will take it for PDP. They need a dash power, then they take power. All these people want the re-election. If they support me, to do what? I've come out. I'm going to take this power from APC back to PDP by the grace of God. God has given us what it is, and that's why God is making APC to make mistake every day. That is how you know God is with you. So I'm begging all of you here, Abamoro, Suswan, Senator, spoke well, members, chairman, don't go and sell your vote. Don't go and sell your vote. Give me. Because I'm the only one that can have the capacity. APC people, when they hold meeting, they say, look, don't enter Wike's problem. They must enter. And when they have entered, I've captured them. Give me this to do. Let me return power to PDP.
Jide, I don't envy the People's Democratic Party at this stage. Yes, the way they concluded their own convention, that they had their own national working committee in a smooth way. But the biggest test is going to, is picking the presidential candidate of that party. Number one, they've not resolved the issue of power shifts. A lot of the northern governors, a lot of northerners, they indicated their readiness to contest. Vice President Atiku, Governor Tambuwal, and a host of others have indicated. And I now notice coming down south, so many other governors that are spending their second term will be contesting too. So it's a party that they've not really decided on the issue of zoning, one, and it's going to be a very, very competitive time ahead.
Yes. For the two parties, it will be tough to pick their presidential standard bearers. It's not the PDP alone. But the APC will also face a tough time choosing the presidential candidate. And whether we like it or not, no choice will be acceptable to
everybody. Yes, that's it. That is
it's just not going to happen. There is not one person that will be able to rally the support of everyone, of even all the power people. There are people who will lose the ticket and they will feel very bad. They will not even forgive their party, and they will not give all their support to their party. So for PDP, yes, the challenge is there, but they said something the other day that after meeting President Babajide, that they intend to choose their presidential candidates
through consensus.
This is easier said than done. it is better to let the people choose the most popular amongst you guys.
To go. Yeah.
This consensus thing is not democratic in the real sense of the word, because you are shutting out the majority of party members from the decision making. Just a cluster of people will come together and say,
pressure on somebody.
yes, yeah, you step down. They'll feel bad. That's why we saw people bursting into tears on the APC podium at Eagle Square. We saw some of them, as soon as they decided to stand down, they left the arena completely. They left the Eagle Square completely. Now, somebody happy to take that decision would definitely not have left in anger, left in, so quickly. The idea was saying, oh, they returned their forms, the money they paid for their forms.
It's not enough.
Somebody who has spent more than 200 million to campaign, he made billboards, can simply buying the form for, can simply returning the money he paid for the form. 40, PDP, I think there was 40 million for the list. Can it atone? Can it make up for all that he has spent? Years, or I mean, months and months of sleepless nights, having meetings, strategy sessions, and all that, and trusting his ability to clean the ticket, only to be told to step down for some individual who never even imagined that he would get there in the first place, had no plan, you know, some made no preparation, some just entered the party, and you went to reward them over and above people who had been there for so long. So it's not going to be easy. Wike has done a lot with his war chest to make the PDP strong, no doubt about it. He is the single most dominant contributor to the finances of the PDP. And looking at him, is someone who thinks that, look, for all that I do, I deserve some reward. So right now, he's willing to contest against even the candidate that he backed the last time. So you can see Tambuwal is still interested, very much interested. Now Wike, who was the person who supported him that last time, is going to go against him. So then, of course, you have Saraki. You know, Saraki too, the other day promised that he was going to make youths ministers of state
or the
in this cabinet. So they have quite a number of good people too, because I saw Hayatuddin, the banker, that famous banker.
That's a big name for them.
Yes, I saw Hayatuddin, and I'm like, this guy is one of the best bankers to come out of our country.
Believe me.
You know, so he's in the race, and he's coming for PDP. So those are individuals. It will be interesting to see people like Hayatuddin stand before the lectern and address the people about the problems of our country and how they intend to solve that problem. You know, I don't know. Our politics is money driven. I don't think people like Hayatuddin have got the watches that the likes of Atiku, Wike have. So, but we'll see how it goes.
Adekunle Yusuf, it's a very interesting time.
Yes.
And the beauty of it is that in the next 2 months, everything must unfold. Yes,
at least in the two biggest parties, APC, PDP. And to me, you see, even when you try to do a preview of what's this, some of them are, I don't want to say jokers, we call them pretenders. Well, by this time we'll be doing a preview of presidential poll. So we have the contenders, we have the pretenders. You get my point? The fact that you are in office now and you have access to stupendous resources and all that. See, they know within themselves. What is happening in the PDP, I believe, is a way to galvanize people's interest, generate, interest, getting more money for the party. Because as I saw Fayose, I think I saw news that Fayose made a past government of Ekiti that is also has also joined the race. Yes. So it's a beautiful way to raise fund for the party. So I heard that some other ones, and Jide said the PDP has not concluded about zoning presidential, which is, but when you look at the PDP, it spent 16 years in power. The PDP spent 16 years in power. I think about 15 of those years were held by Southerners. So if they said they want to zone their party, it is easier than if I compare with the APC that is taking straight 8 years. You get my point? So people like Wike and others, they are party men. Wherever the pendulum swings, I heard him say that he will abide by the decision of the party. But he is not somebody that anybody can just wish away. Even if he didn't get it, anyone who gets the PDP ticket will need Nyesom Wike. I'm 100% sure about that. There are other ones that they will tell you they have joined the race, and now on social media, is that one is a serious candidate? I don't know. but not the Nyesom Wike. I don't see any problem as such. Unlike the APC getting that ticket in the APC is going to be a big task. Because when you look at just look at the convention they had, I foresee a bigger, crisis when they want to, because
and some people have been warning against this.
There are people who have never. There are people now who have not come out to declare. Everybody knows Asiwaju is already declared, and he's all over the place, and he's busy day and night campaigning, consulting, winning many souls and all that. You get my point? There are other big names that will still come out. So how do you do it? You cannot, I am saying it again, do the APC ticket through a consensus. That will not happen. I don't know who
people will definitely push for that to reduce
20 presidents combined together cannot achieve that. In APC today, with all those big names,
no, even if you try to do it, there will be consequences.
It will be terrible consequences for the party if anybody wants to say through consensus. And if you are ready to do open election, are you ready to live with the consequences too? Because if your candidate does not win,
democracy, let the people choose.
That's why I said it's going to be serious in the APC more than what you will see in the PDP.
We saw what happened in 2015 when they went to
2014.
It was 2014, the stadium in Lagos.
Yes,
and took like 48 hours for them to produce a candidate. Ultimately, the likes of Atiku contested, and ultimately President Muhammadu Buhari actually got the ticket. And the first thing he did was he went to those other candidates and they tried to mend fences, and it wasn't as acrimonious as a lot of people expected. But this one, a lot of people are saying that this is a different ball game, that the stakes are higher.
See, once the process is transparent, once there is no desire on the part of anyone, whether you are the president or the president's people, to skew the process in favor of an individual or a particular aspirant, there's not going to be rancor. What brings rancor is when people can see with their korokoro eyes efforts being made to ensure that the field is not level. That is what brings rancor. Did we see rancor at Teslim Balogun that day? You were there. You were there 48 hours. I was sending food to you people. You were there, you didn't bath, you were working for 48 hours.
Back to back before they could.
We carried it, TVC carried it, wall-to-wall coverage. The whole world was watching. And it was transparent, and it gave the party a big name across the globe. Because at a point, it was even the biggest issue trending. That presidential primary, you know. So, no rancor. People talking about, oh, there will be rancor, this, it is because they want to impose people. It's politics. Let it be a game where the ordinary party man, the ordinary party man can have a say. The ordinary party man can say, okay, at least my vote counted. Not where some powerful people, some power people, we then say, okay, no, this is the person that we want. Even if that person is a reluctant to contest.
Not the governors having their way right now.
But I can guarantee you that the level cannot be plain. I mean, the process cannot be, because number one, when you compare 2014 APC primaries and what we have now, the stakes are higher now than before. That time, Asiwaju was fully backing President Muhammadu Buhari's, candidature. Today, Asiwaju is a candidate. President Muhammadu, yes, okay, it's an aspirant. Asiwaju is an aspirant. Sorry to say, President Muhammadu Buhari is no longer in the race, but we have our interest. There is nothing wrong in that. Today.
There's nothing wrong in our
there's nothing wrong.
He can support his candidates by walking around the power blocks within the party. What should not happen is for somebody to attempt to impose.
That's where I was going.
If we are saying that you register 41 million members, give power to the people, the people in the party. That's the way it is supposed to be. Don't decide. You don't know it all.
Let the most popular candidate emerge.
Don't decide for the majority.
They must be a Democrat by accepting the verdict of the primaries.
What I pray to see is that level playing field. Perhaps if the best of the best, the most popular, it still doesn't mean that governors won't be able to wield their powers and influence using their delegates and all. They will still be able to exert their influence. But let it be seen that it is a straight contest, not just pick someone and say, okay, we are doing consensus. This is the it's not democracy. Those guys who are shedding tears when you see an adult, a fully grown person, crying in public, it's not something to joke about.
If there were,
those tears are coming with causes.
A lot of regret. Yes, regrets.
They are coming with causes from the inner recesses of their hearts.
Yes.
A person who is made to give up his position for somebody who just joined the party, whom you have never tested his loyalty, he just joined the party. You don't know whether it's the sort of person who can decide to leave tomorrow. You took something from a loyal party man and gave to that person. And that person is crying in public, shedding tears. You think it's something you think it's something to smile about? No, it's not funny.
APC, we have to think properly about that, because when you look at what has just happened, many people are not happy. Even in some states, they are still fighting.
Of course.
The governor of Nasarawa State is the one trying to sue for peace now. Do you know the camp of Adamu and the immediate former governor, the camps openly fighting. And it got to a point that Almakura had to go and visit the winner. Yet it didn't stop.
No.
The camps from
some
fighting.
Of the people with your supporters, you know someone like Asiwaju now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his capacity to forgive is legendary. But I know that even a lot of his supporters will sometimes say, why is it that Baba always, this person will go to Baba now, he will forgive. You understand? He can forgive some people, but his supporters may not forgive.
They may not change their mind.
That's the thing. When people feel cheated, denied of what they felt was heading their way, don't bet against negative things that they can do. They can even work against their party. We've seen that happen. You know? So what can make this, let the people choose. That can't be a bad idea now. The people chose Buhari here in Lagos at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. They chose him before our eyes, and it was transparent. Nothing should make the APC not go the way of 2014. 40-man
presidential primaries.
Let the governors lobby delegates and all that, but make this thing transparent. Let us see it. Let APC be able to show it to the world the way we showed Buhari's victory to the world back in 2014.
And anything contrary or anything that is not as to have disastrous consequences on the party's fortune,
especially when all of those issues in the respective states are yet to be resolved. The man who is the new chairman of the party was given the task of reconciling party members across the states. He came back with a verdict that they had not finished their work. So all of a sudden, you drafted him into the race and chose him over and above others who had been spending money building big balls in Abuja, especially along the airport road and other places.
Especially somebody you would want to see as the most loyal party man at Atiku Makura. No one in that party, you know, remember his days with Buhari all along.
CPC was the only governor. CPC.
No one will ever expect that
let's leave that to them. You know, we are not politicians. Let's leave that to them.
Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. It's still Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. It's Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Kebbi State, northwest Nigeria, is in the throes of rampant banditry and needs help fast. For about a year now, a member representing Yauri Shanga Ngaski Federal Constituency of the states at the House of Representatives, Tanko Yusuf Sununu, has cried out that bandits are having a field day in the area. He's still worried about the rampant banditry in the area, saying the time for help is now. Today, it's so amazing. In our second topic or in our third topic, we spoke about this, and we spoke about Boko Haram, and now banditry. Now, it's as if it's now the in thing. Once these guys are 14, 15, 16, in that part of the country, everybody is recruited and everybody just wants to have a taste of that ransom money. So it's something that has really gone far. And to curtail it, apart from killing them, it will take time to really curtail this thing, because they've enlisted most of our youths.
Well, it will look like an exaggeration. You said they've enlisted most. They've not enlisted most of them. They brought in foreigners. Some of these people are not foreigners, and they are foreigners. Some of them are foreigners from Niger Republic. And they've also engaged spies, people who stand by the roadside, just spying on vehicles. Sometimes when you stop to buy something, they will notify them that, oh, there is a big shot, it's coming in so car, and then they kidnap you. You know? So a lot of our people are collaborating with them. Even at the height of the Boko Haram insurgency, that was also happening.
They had
old women helping Boko Haram insurgents to hide their guns just because of money. Bandits pay over the odds for all the things that they need. The petrol that they need to fuel their motorbikes, they pay in excess, by far in excess of what you and I pay. For the people who supply them bread, Governor Masari was warning them the other day that those bakers who supply them bread, that they are going to deal with them. They pay highly for loaves of bread because they can't go to the market the way you and I can go to buy things. In order to have access to those things, they are prepared to pay a hefty sum of money. So our people, we now have what looks like the bandit economy in the far north. And different categories of people are benefiting from it. So in such a situation,
drug peddlers.
Yes.
So lots of
tramadol, Indian hemp, and all that. You know, they need these things to oil their banditry. So people who will come and sell to them, even prostitutes, they also pay over the odds
to ship them in.
No, the prostitutes that are available, that are willing to come and sleep with them, they pay heftily to encourage us. I remember the story of a woman who said that that these guys pay 50,000 for a round of sex, that he had to even bring in, she had to bring in her daughter, so that bandit's money can be circulating within the family. So it's terrible. It's terrible. The danger that I see is, as long as we can't keep them under check, more and more people will take to banditry. More and more young people will think that, look, if we can't beat them, let's join them. So it's a dangerous situation. And it's in Kebbi State, especially in the Zuru Emirate, more and more people are being killed by these guys. It's not every part of Kebbi that is unsafe, but that area, they are killing people in dozens, and it really has to stop.
Adekunle Yusuf, when you look at it and you see attempt by governments, you know, to take on this, but the more they try, the more, you know, the bigger the cartel. And Nasir El-Rufai said sometimes that, look, these were cattle rearers earning 90,000, 200,000. That's what they've tasted now, that it's going to be difficult for you to tell them to go back to their less lucrative cattle rearing.
Well, for the case of Kebbi, you see many of their big men lamenting, crying out that bandits operate unchallenged in their area. And sometimes, even when soldiers try to, you see the disastrous consequences. They kill our soldiers. You see how many times the local vigilantes, they slaughter them like fowls. I mean, bandits slaughter local vigilantes like fowls.
Don't want to see them.
So now, with the money involved, people now see a lucrative window in crime. Everybody, you know, many people want to make money through all this. And how do we solve that? It becomes, you know, more problematic when people now start seeing financial opportunity in this kind of, you know. And when you look at Kebbi State, especially from February and March, this year, it's been so bad. It's every day they have problem. Every day. Maybe as we speak, there is problem as well. So they come, they kill people, kill bandits, and kill vigilantes, abduct women, kill young people. How many soldiers have we lost in that area in the last 2-3 months? So it's so sad. But many of these things are not well reported in the media. So many people don't know that this is the magnitude of the crisis there.
Well, okay. I have the member representing Yari Shanga Ngaski Federal Constituency of Kebbi State at the House of Representatives, Tanko Yusuf Sonono. Thank you for joining us. Honorable, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Can you please paint a picture of what is happening in your constituency. That's Yari, Shanga, and Gaski Federal Constituency in Kebbi State.
Well, thank you very much for finding me worthy to be invited in this your program, Journalists Hangout. Well, let's just say that hitherto to now, Kebbi State has been one of the most peaceful states in the country. But in the last few months,
okay, before we connect with and we were talking about the menace, and look at this Kebbi State now. Kebbi State is known for, you know, farming and rice cultivation and everything, and this will, you know, adversely affect farmers in this state.
Yes, part of the reason farmers have been slaughtered, especially in Zulu Emirate, is the reluctance of some farmers to pay levies to bandits. They had not been used to it. You know, in states like Niger, maybe Katsina, where banditry has been rampant for years, it is possible for farmers to say, well, in exchange for peace, this is what
let's just have
do.
peace.
Let's just, because they knew the consequences of not doing business with those guys. But Kebbi State, for so long, they didn't have this problem. So the moment these guys were asking for levy, I mean, to be paid some levies and all that, they were resisted. And it led to a big slaughter, 88 persons killed in one day. And they've not stopped.
I think the Honorable Tanko Yusuf Sunono is back. So, as you were saying, I asked you about the situation on ground in your constituency.
well, thank you very much. As that's a very wonderful coach. I mentioned earlier that hitherto now, Kebbi State has been one of the most peaceful states in the country. But in the last few months, at least 1 year back, we have seen a lot of incursion into Kebbi South, especially Yaoundé Emirate and Zulu Emirate councils. These areas constitute about 7 local governments. And then what we are worried is the fact that the situation is so bad that Kebbi being an agrarian state, with Zulu and Yaoundé being the most fertile part of the Kebbi State, and that is sustaining, especially Yaoundé, the rice production that Kebbi State champion, we've seen a situation whereby the uncertainty as far as security of life and properties has challenged that position of Yaoundé Emirate and Zulu Emirate as far as food security in the country, and by implication affecting Kebbi and Nigeria at large. Because of this, I have raised 3 major motions at this, in the House of Representatives to address, calling on the federal government through their security agencies to address the issues. Why are we worried? We are worried in the fact that, based on the fact that, one, it is really clear that there is no base of bandits in Kebbi State. It means they have to travel from neighboring states of Zamfara, Niger, and Kaduna to come to Kebbi and operate. So they come in large numbers, hundreds riding motorcycles. 3, they have to cover a kilometer of almost 300 plus kilometers to get to their target. And thirdly, they hardly operate at night. In fact, it's their modus operandi. Wherever it is 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. for them, that the next village, that's where they will pass night and before proceeding the following day to where they are going to operate. Confident. And fifthly, we also notice that they don't. They have a meeting point whereby they will gather before moving in mass. And with all these 6, we also realize that the local people are so cooperative that they call major stakeholders to tell them that, look, bandits are on their way coming. They are gathering here, they are in this village. In fact, it's timeline reporting. But we got worried that despite that, they still have to go to get to their target, this mayhem and the place, and then go back to their destination. This they have done several times in my constituency. They were in in Federal Government College, Bindin Yahudi, where they have kidnapped over 100 girls. Up till now, we have more than 10 of them that are still with them. We are uncertain on how they are. They also came, the last time they were in Shanga, they burnt down completely and nearly Stongan Zarumai and visited Bakintru. Many people were kidnapped. Cows roasted. So also if you go to areas of Kimo, Biniawudi, Kimo area, and then the Kambua. And lastly, we've also seen that the economic situation of Kebbi State that has been so far worked hard by the governor to brought about 2 major companies is also in a serious jeopardy. We have GB Food, which is one of the biggest producer of tomatoes in West Africa, that chooses Ingeski, Gavra near my village, as their main production site. They have a very big farm, and it was estimated that over $5 million have been so far spent to bring forth the facility. But the last attack, the same company was the target of these bandits, even though we are lucky that information were disseminated early and the bandits were, the foreign partners of the company were evacuated. But despite that, they were able to go to their target, hit the target, and kill about 5 policemen on guard, kill 1 person in Ingaski. From there, they proceeded to Nasco in Niger State, and also kill a DPO there, divisional police officer, and a lot of policemen. Even though we heard that along their way, they also attempted to attack another police station in Bangui in Niger State, where they met their Waterloo, and a lot of them were killed. But the issue is that despite this knowledge that they are coming, they are gathering, they are this, you find that the locals will be left with few vigilante or volunteers, and then the ill-equipped local policemen and other security agencies that cannot face them in any way. So this has put a lot of fears in the mind of people. And what is the consequences now? Schools are closed down in some places. Like already we have lost Federal Government College Biniawuri because of the bandits that went there and kidnapped children. We also have the Government Science Secondary School Yauri that has to be closed down, and some other schools that are there, even they are day school, not even boarding. They have to close them down because of fear of this. So it means that their illiteracy level will increase. School attendance and out of school girls would be decent. And this is also a major challenge to self-school initiative of the federal government. And something must be done to ensure that that is decent. Economically, I mentioned earlier that we are producers of food crops, cash crops. This, as of today now, I'm telling you, because last rainy season was inadequate, the rainfall was not sufficient enough for people to harvest. The little that also people have harvested, these bandits are going, packing it, and burning it down completely. So what is there? The security is not there, and hunger and famine is almost about to show its ugly head. Not only that, when you know that the kind of system of our farmers in terms of their attitude to farming is today they will farm this year, keep the one that they are going to eat, sell the others, and then buy cows, so that those cows, they will rear them for at least a period of another 1 year, and during the next rainy season they will sell them out and then invest it in farming. You find that most of our farmers that are into that practice lost their cows trustless, and this is a major concern, that even if peace is to be restored, their capacity to go into farming is also compromised seriously. Not only that, you know, the major issue of being a terrorist, it instills fear. So now there is serious fear in our people, and that's the major issue. Excessive fear has a lot of both medical and psychological impact. Medically, those people with chronic diseases cannot even get time to go and for their normal consultation, and because also of that fear, majority may went up to develop hypertension with its consequences. And then socially, because of the fear, you cannot go to nearby market for you to buy and sell your goods. In fact, market were being attacked. So this has put the people in a serious concern, that you find that after all this, the major issue that came is worsening from humanitarian crisis, with a lot of people moving from somewhat called presumed safe areas. For example, now when it happened, people around Bakintru, Tungankolo and many other villages, Bini Awuri and rest, moved to Awuri. So also a lot of people from areas of Ingaski, Wara, moved, Gafara and rest, moved towards Wara. This is all presumption. But so to say that nowhere is secured. But we are of recent, I have to commend also the effort of the state government in bringing normalcy, and also in trying to make an effort to see how we can restructure and strategize and then empower our volunteers so that they can be more effective. And then there will be a better control, and then they are also censored and profiled, so that among them you cannot have also those that may compromise the setting. And this has been wonderfully done, and I do hope that also the state government will maintain that mentality.
Honorable Sononon, you talked about...
So the situation as today, I would say that normalcy is somehow restored, but people are still living in fear of what happened next.
Honorable Sononon, you talked about the need to empower the volunteers. Whenever we read reports of vigilance people being slaughtered by these boys, it's extremely painful, because they sacrifice their lives for ordinary people in those communities, in your constituency and in other places that are in danger. Many people have argued that it is better we have state police backed by law and sufficiently armed, because the weapons in the hands of these vigilante people can't stand up to what these bandits are going around with. So confronting them with Dane guns and charms is not the solution. So what, in your opinion, should be done? Do you support the idea of allowing states to have their own police that will be sufficiently armed within the ambit of the law, so that they can confront these security challenges?
Thank you very much. I think this is a very important question. But I must also not want to 100% agree with you. I quite agree that they have sacrificed their life and volunteered to save and safeguard the people of where they are staying. We shouldn't rule out the role of volunteers. If you see the civilian DTF of Maiduguri, is a very good example of Borno State that have really aligned, collaborated, and worked closely with the established formal agencies of security network. And they have the ability, they have more advantage in the sense that they have the local terrain is well known. If you look at the modus operandi of the bandits themselves, they hardly use motors. They use motorcycles, because that's they have routes in the bushes that, one, it's shortcut routes, two, no access to major military hardware that can pass and then confront them. So it means you need support of those local people to, as a matter of fact, serve as an anti-shock or a supporting system that will further give the knowledge of the terrain and then the route of the bandits that they are following. Yes, the issue of state security, state police, a lot of issues were raised. Pro and cons have been looked into, and many times when it comes into discussion, even in the National Assembly, it raised a lot of concern. But if you ask me for my own personal opinion, as you said, personally, I think time has come that we have to look critically and see how we can empower our citizens. And then there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages of state police. One, it creates a lot of job opportunities. Two, it's also allowed those who have the information about local terrain to be well involved. Three, it will also make sure that people who are within their domain will respect the people they know much, and then information can easily be gotten. But the fear is that even given into the hand of those who are not really patriotic, there is fear that it can be used for political and other concerns. Now, the whole issue is that what is just most needed is if we can have them have an effective means of checkmating the activity, and then without allowing anybody that may sponsor that is responsible for them to take them and use them for contrary opinion, I think it is a welcome idea. But the argument for state police now is not the case. The case is that why can't we recruit more people into army, civil defense corps, police, and rest? You understand? That's why even the National Assembly, and especially the House of Representatives, even in our, we had a security summit that we have submitted the report to Mr. President for possible implementation. We insisted that there is need for us to require to recruit more. The whole bandits, the last figure I had, it was about 30,000 and I'm telling you, Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, the 6-7 states of the Northwest, today if you want to recruit 300,000 youth who are volunteer and ready to serve this country, they are there. They are there left jobless. And we do know that what is said is correct, that this something, the double workshop, an idle man is a double workshop. There. So there are a lot of youth that are ready to volunteer or to be recruited in the police. So why can't we now, those that have been screened and profiled by state and they are found to be worthy because they have passed through their village and many states, be recruited and be converted to work and receive formal training, and then push them to either police, immigration, and other things. This will create a lot of jobs. Because if the bandits are using their number to intimidate us, we also have a pool of youth that we can harness. And we need to act fast, because there is one advantage that we have now. And I think it's high time where we work with it before we lose it. Up till now, the airspace of the country is under the control of federal government. We've seen a lot of challenges how these people are going from one place to another, from attacking road now to attacking train, and the fear that they may even attack aircraft, because you can see a lot of airlines are suspending their flight to Kaduna. So this means that this air control that we have, we must utilize this as fast as possible to ensure that we have a better synergy between security agencies with the alignment. And then the alignment must be more important among the 7 state governments. And including Niger State of North Central, so that we can work in harmony and see how we can end it. The mistake we are making currently is the mistake that we had made earlier. When the Boko Haram started, we see it as a North-East problem. People see it as Borno problem. Later it became Yobe, and later it moved to Adamawa. And that's why now we are now seeing, initially we thought that, people thought that the banditry is a problem of Zamfara State. But now it has become a problem of Northwest. And if care is not taken, North Central have already been entered. Everybody keep on saying that even Abuja is not safe because Niger is there, Kaduna is there, and there are a lot of pockets of attack in Benue and other places. So we must see it as a national issue. And as a national issue, what it requires is, I'm a surgeon. And as a surgeon, gynecological surgeon, we believe that there are stages. In stage 4 cancer, everybody, ask any doctor, stage 4 cancer is a hopeless situation. There's nothing much you can do. As far as this banditry issue is concerned, it has not reached stage 4. But it is in a stage whereby radical surgery can be done. You can act decisively and address it once for all. You see, we must change our modus operandi from being proactive, from being defensive to offensive. A situation whereby that's why they always have upper hand. We only went, we allowed them until they reach their target. That's then we now make, and then people come, they get reinforcement and then listen. And then secondly, so we must now take the fight to the base, to their bases.
Thank you so much.
Taking the fight to their bases, that's a lot of advantage. One, they will be disoriented. You are likely also to destroy their armory. And large number of them will also be neutralized. So, and other ones can be taken care by the...
We have to leave it there, Honorable.
By the ground forces.
Thank you.
So I think we have to move that...
Thank you for your contribution. The member representing Yauri Shanga Ngaski Federal Constituency of Kebbi State at the House of Representatives, Honorable Thanko Yusuf Sonunu. I will come back, we talk sports. Stay with us. Welcome back. The failure of the Super Eagles of Nigeria to qualify for Qatar 2022 World Cup is still a bitter pill for most Nigerians to swallow. Reacting to the missed tickets, the Senate slammed the team for that lackluster performance against the Black Stars of Ghana on Tuesday on the 29th of March, describing it as painful and disheartening. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Sport and Youth Development, Senator Obinna Ogba, said the upper legislative chamber will carry out a holistic investigation into what happened. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has tendered an apology to the federal government and Nigerians for the failure of the Super Eagles to reach the World Cup finals in Qatar, despite the enormous support from government and Nigerians who trooped out to fill the 60,000 capacity MKO Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, for the clash with Ghana. Let's relive that sad moment with you. I'm not happy, in spite of the fact that, yes, we lost, we did not qualify for the World Cup. This stadium, I can't remember the last time we played there. It has just been rehabilitated, courtesy of some private guys and there's efforts from the sport minister, Sondedari, you know, this national stadium, Lagos here, and Abuja National Stadium. So because we lost that much, look at what we turned our own property into. Must it always degenerate to this?
Well, it is a sad reflection of our society and a sad reaction from the crowd. They came with high expectation that the Eagles will win, and after we painfully lost out, not that we were beaten, but on away goal rules, the tension got to them and they reacted. And they reacted angrily in a very bad way. It is uncalled for. It's uncalled for. It is sad and it is condemnable. It's just as the same way the English fan reacted when they were beaten by Italy in the final of the Euro 2020 at Wembley. I think it was this year too. They reacted and they attacked everything. That is the volatile reaction, the spontaneous reaction of fans when they expect to get good result and the result turn against their teams. So it's condemnable because this stadium, multi-million naira stadium that has just been rehabilitated, this is the first match we are playing on the stadium. And look at how it turned out. It's sad.
Chile, now, it's not as if when you want to look at the quality of players that we paraded, it's not as if the Ghanaians had better players in terms of clubs they played for in Europe and, you know, a better representation. But what went wrong?
The Eagles clearly played without a discernible pattern. That has been the problem of our team for some time. Then the fighting spirit was not there. The fighting spirit was not there. I think the Ghanaians showed us that they wanted it more. And as a philosopher once said, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can win. Somebody asked Ronaldo of Manchester United an hypothetical question: will Portugal qualify? He said, there won't be a World Cup without Portugal. Portugal will be at this World Cup. He said it emphatically, he was sure. And that's what happened. That's why North Macedonia eliminated Italy, the European champions. They beat North Macedonia easily and qualified. So I didn't see that fighting spirit. Secondly, we didn't have a creative midfielder. who can dictate the play, who can control the midfield, who can control the game. We didn't bust the game.
The guys of JJ Okocha.
Yes, someone on that midfield who will anchor that midfield and tread passes, because Osimhen was waiting for service. He didn't get service. Despite the fact I didn't get service, he was the one drifting to midfield, trying to help.
Very, very active.
It was isolated. You needed a midfielder who could tread passes accurately to him and let him finish the job. He has the energy, he has the height. But we didn't have that. Aribo is not a playmaker in the real sense of the word, because for a playmaker you have to have the engine, you have to be creative. But we didn't have that. And then the coach, I think the quality of coaching was abysmal. Probably the worst that I've seen as someone who has been following Nigerian football for some time. Eguavon, in my view, should not come near a national team. It shouldn't come near a national team. The tactics were not there. Game management was zero. He does not know when to substitute players. He will substitute them when it's very late and when they cannot make an impact. You know, so you can have the best crop of players in the world. If the evidence of coaching is not there, if they can't string 5 passes together at once. This Super Eagles team, I said it before the match. Yes. And people, somebody said I was harsh. But I was saying the truth. They can't make 5-6 passes at once. And we saw Ghanaians passing even more than 6 times, 7 times. That same team. So if you can't control the midfield, how do you win a game? How?
Now, it's very difficult pain to bear that Qatar here, that, you know, so many Nigerians have been looking forward that they will visit, that to be a time to follow the Super Eagles, that we are not going to attend that World Cup. And the fallout of this, I think this happened in, is it 2006?
Yes. Yes.
So
that was the last time we missed the World Cup, apart from this year. And I have not even gotten over the disappointment. I thought over it all through the night. As if we have been beaten by the best team in Africa, I would have taken it as a consolation. Like you said, we are the better players. But Jide has said it all. No pattern, no structure. Look at the Ghanaian team. In the first half, they realized the pattern we are playing, loving the ball over the central defenders and for Osimhen to run and meet the ball. It worked for us in the first half. But they went to the dressing room, look at it, and change their own pattern. We didn't change ours. And when we came for the second half, we did not even make any attempt at goal, except the one made by Osimhen. Half chances. Why they were the Ghanaians were comfortable throughout the second half because they were never threatened in the real sense of the word. They were never threatened. We were playing as if, like Jide said, that there was nothing at stake. No changing. When the Ghanaians were coming in the second half, they changed 3 of their players immediately and changed their tactics. But our coach just stood up, was looking at the players. It was obvious that Calvin Bassey, he is a good player. But this is the first time he's playing in Africa in a harsh weather like that. He was tired by the start of the second half.
He was gasping.
He was gasping for breath. Yet he continued to play until about 60 minutes. The same thing, Aribo doesn't have the physical strength to tackle the Ghanaians. He doesn't have it. You should have changed him earlier. No, you left him. He even played the 90 minutes, the whole 90 minutes. So we don't have a coach.
Okay, I have joining us a sports analyst, Yomi Kuku. Thank you for joining us. Yomi Kuku. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Yes, it's my pleasure to be here.
We can't ask you whether you are disappointed because that would be, the answer will be so predictable. But can you tell us the extent of your disappointment at our elimination from the World Cup?
Well, first I was expecting Nigeria not to go too far in the near future, maybe not as much as coming much earlier than this. But the way the Nigeria Football Federation has been running football in Nigeria, it is very clear that the game was heading for doom. In the 7-8 years of the current administration, we have seen Nigeria sent packing, even where we've always had the strong points, like female football, going to the Olympics, going to the African Women's Championships, and then, bringing home the cup. And then you would expect that such would have elevated Nigeria beyond the African sphere, moving on to conquer Europe and then getting as much as, medal contenders in the Olympics and all that. For days to the qualifier itself, I tried to be in denial for the first time because I don't know what the patriotism that just came over me, like, listen, yeah, it seems this is going to be the way, but let me just be positive. And I have no regret about it anyway, because I'm a Nigerian and I feel the same way everybody feels. But the truth there is that the way football is in Nigeria currently and what is going on was not just about what happened last week. It is something that has been cultivated over the last 10 years, even before this administration came in. But it got worse with this administration. I mean the football administration right now, because practically all the officials are more interested in getting into CAF, into FIFA, and, putting their cronies also into those committees at the CAF level and FIFA level, basically abandoned the Nigerian League, which used to be the bedrock of a selection process. If you look through the history of Nigerian football, the highest we've ever had any diaspora players who considered Nigeria like second choice was just now. I mean, having to bring in diaspora players, 1, 2, to complement, the players homegrown, quality players homegrown, let me put it that way. And the diaspora players actually also came in quality players too. And so they go out there to conquer the world. Look at USA 94. Efan Ekuku was, and then Ruben Agbola, they were part of the team and they played all their way, all through. And these two guys were quality players. Ruben got injured eventually, could not make it to the United States. And then if you go to France, also in 1998 and then 2002, you would see over time that there's this continuous reliance on homegrown majorly and then putting in 1 or 2 players. But now, the situation is not the same. The last game we played in Abuja, we had 6 first-team players who were diaspora born. And all 6, virtually all of the 6 players considered Nigeria as second choice. I have no problem with that. If we're grooming players at home, they would have been able to compete with these diaspora born, and then we would have been able to pick the most quality amongst them. But when we began to look at it from the basis that somebody plays with Glasgow Rangers or is playing with Udinese or Watford, even if they are second-string players, we don't really care. We say, oh, the league is not good at home. But let me point out something here. What is really affecting the league at home? The head of the league itself, Shehu Diko, who happened to be the one that should be drafting and driving the strategic development of the league in the last 8 years, has been more of a CAF official than a Nigerian Football Federation official. Look at the Nigerian league that has grown from, having a full house. I'm even talking about this current NFF, where they got to the point that we were even watching live games in the evenings. I watched MFM playing against Kano Pillars. It was a night game. I saw on CNN one of the best goals scored by Sikiru Olatubosun of MFM from the left back. And people were beginning to look at Nigerian league. And then suddenly from nowhere, these guys basically got obsessed with being in CAF and FIFA. They abandoned everything local. You would even see them on match days wearing Manchester United jersey, Liverpool jersey. You go to their offices, you're seeing them also, wearing shirts of foreign clubs. Yeah, you can say it's a free world. It is not. If the FA of England cannot wear stationary stores jersey, it becomes a crime if a Nigerian Football Federation official wears a Manchester United jersey. So it becomes a crime.
What should we do since, in your view, these guys have let their country down? What should then happen? Shouldn't they resign, as we've seen some of the... Shouldn't they just resign so that we can start afresh?
Well, I hope they did that even immediately after the game. which unexpectedly they did not. And if you look at the Algerian FA president, he resigned honorably immediately after the Algerian team lost to Cameroon. He called a press conference in Algiers, was it in Blida, if I'm not mistaken, and then he addressed them and said, well, his leadership has failed the nation and he doesn't see any reason why he should continue. But the Nigerian case is quite different. A huge contradiction, far away from what you would think is a moral dictate. The guy who is the Federation President, Hamaju Pinnick, instead left for Qatar under the guise of being a FIFA Council official. Excuse me, where is your loyalty? Is it to that FIFA official nomenclature, or is it Nigeria that is your country? You don't even feel that it's a time where you do some self-check. So if you ask me, I think if it's from the point of moral and what is expected of people who consider themselves as, knowing exactly what they're doing and being committed to their job, what they would do is they would resign, regardless of whether the election will be coming up in September or whatever time, even if it was going to be the next day. We need to start singing this into the hearing of people, that resignation is more or less like something that should be humane. It is part of humanity. It is part of you showing remorse.
Let me ask you this question. Many people said the time was too short to replace Guavon. Looking back, would you say that the time was indeed too short, or Roy would have been better?
In the first place, there was no reason to engage Gernot Rohr, the expatriate coach that came, because if you're actually looking for competence and excellence, there was no reason for us to go for Rohr. Rohr was the coach of Girondins Bordeaux in 1996, and they played against Bayern Munich in the UEFA Cup final, which is equivalent of what you call the Europa Cup right now. But afterwards, it's been a descent. He went on to become sporting director at Eintracht Frankfurt, and then he also went to Nantes in the League 2, and then, like second division.
No, I'm referring, maybe you didn't hear me clearly.
I heard you, I'm saying something prelude to that. So if they hadn't employed Rohr, Guavon would not have come into the picture. And again, at the end of the day, what we're saying is that there's no strategic development program, no strategic development output to say these are the parameters to be used to employ coaches. What are the parameters being used? So if they were going to be doing that, Guavon would never have become the coach. He would have been back in the office, because over time now, for a while, he's been more of technical director sitting in the office, analyzing technical situations, and he's not really held any on the bench in-person football game coaching. So that basically disqualifies him, because if you're not in day-to-day activities, like taking you off the screen now, for instance, for as long as 5-6 years, when you come back, you're likely going to be very rusty.
I want to thank you for your intervention. Thank you so much. Then, Musbam, a lot of people are saying that the way Guavon might have left, that by now Hamaju Pinnick should have thrown the towel.
That is absolutely what should have happened. The Nigeria Football Federation has failed Nigerians, and the top officials should have just have left for a new election to take place. Let's chart a new path for Nigerian football. They have done their best. Let them go with their best now. We need a new leadership at the Nigerian Football Federation. We need a new leadership.
We don't need the apologies. They should just leave. If Pinnick has a shred of honor, this is the time to throw in the towel. If he has honor as small as the mustard seed, this is the time for Pinnick to throw in the towel, because we've seen other people do the same thing. And I hope that we'll be able to learn from this. Those who said it was too late to replace Guavon, we saw the Cameroonians, they replaced their coach with Rigobert Song, and despite losing the first leg, they qualified at home. They qualified for the World Cup. We saw the Ghanaians, they replaced their coach and qualified. Then we will be deceiving ourselves here that let Guavon remain, that it is too late to change a coach.
Do you know
coach without tactical acumen, no time can be too late to send him packing.
The people are just playing to the gallery. Do you know they have even prepared a 2.5-year contract for Guavon if he had managed to qualify for the World Cup? So what are we saying? the coach has failed. Look at our nation's score by clipping Chukwueze and what's the name of this Simon. The Tunisian knew our game plan and they just went for it, scored a goal, and that was the end. The government has no answer, and we can't qualify for the quarterfinal. For a long time, we have the semi-final has been our leagues. The league stage we have reached in the Nations Cup.
We go to Qatar now as spectators.
Yes, let's go and watch.
It's unfortunate that
it's very unfortunate.
A country with so many talents. This is how we ended up. The Ghanaian team is the worst that I've ever seen since I've been watching Ghanaian football.
They're not spectacular.
That I'm ashamed that that kind of team can eliminate my team.
Nigeria.
It's a massive shame for me.
Their only shot on target was the goal.
Yes,
we have to leave there.
Our goalkeeper didn't make a single save. From the statistics. 0 save.
Thank you, Musbam. Thank you. Thank you, and Adekunle Yusuf that participated earlier, and the rest of himself, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju. Thank you. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Bye for now and see you tomorrow.